This week, I've been talking sort of about two things at once, but I'm sure that those of you who've seen my content this week will know what I'm getting at, essentially. Um, because I've found that, the thing that I've been talking about, which is, being available, yeah, being available to support a very dear friend of mine, um, used to have been difficult, but I've changed the way that I exist on this planet. And I've discovered that resourcing yourself, in other words, me resourcing me, is really important. More important than that, it's actually making myself the priority. And this may sound on the face of it like, well, if Tanya's totally concentrating on looking after Tanya, then how's she going to look after her clients? Well, I'll tell you, because making myself a priority, looking after me, makes me more able to support other people. Actually, if I just pop over and look at my Wednesday post, right? For those of you who didn't see my post on Wednesday, I was talking about a dear friend of mine who several months ago invited me out for lunch. We hadn't seen each other since before the pandemic, face to face, that is. So I just thought the lunch was about a catch up, but she did have some serious news. And the news was essentially that she was building herself a team to support her through upcoming cancer treatment. I wouldn't even say that it was like a, oh my God, kind of shock, because actually, before I go into the because, I'll say, like 15 years ago, when my husband was still alive, when my kids were still living at home, I would have immediately spiraled into an internal panic, trying to figure out how I could have done all of the things that I'm committed to do and be there for her. But now, it's not that I have any less to do, yeah? But what I do now is I resource myself so that I can always say yes when someone needs me. I don't even need to look at my diary, because I can figure out what's in my diary. I can move things that are in my diary because there's always room. And I make that room and I make that space and I make that resource of time available to me. Yeah. So that's kind of like the obvious thing. That I have to do this every single day, but I do it in all sorts of different ways each day. Otherwise, I would just be the absolute people-pleasing, burnt-out mess that I was 15 years ago. Yeah. So my invitation to you on Wednesday was to resource yourself so that when someone important really needs you, you can say yes. Of course, resourcing is also about saying no. I'll probably get to that. Let's see how this talk goes, because at the moment, I've got nobody in the chat to ask me questions live. Obviously, if you want to ask questions, yeah, pop them underneath this post if you see it on Facebook somewhere, because I'll get to it, or just send me a message. Yeah. If you want there to be absolutely no delay in you getting in front of my face, I think number one would probably be WhatsApp, because that's where I talk to clients. And they're always first. My mum is also on WhatsApp. Number two place would probably be Facebook Messenger, because that literally jumps up in front of my face when I'm sitting here working, creating content, or studying just to keep myself up to date. So, I mean, I suppose before we go into how, I'd like to talk about, why should you even bother with resourcing? And I found out about the importance of this years ago, and it kind of went like this. It was an important lesson that kind of jumped out and hit me when I was coaching women with eating disorders. I'd had an eating disorder myself. I'd been coached out of it. The coach who coached me out of it invited me to work for her, mainly as a mentor, but I did take on some coaching work later on. But I didn't know it at the time, but the women that I was dealing with, near enough all of them were dealing with a hidden trauma. And these eating patterns were symptoms and not the actual problem. So when I started to coach, I wanted to coach, one, somatically, two, holistically, and 3, from a place of compassion and consideration. And that's looking, yeah, and that consideration comes from the trauma-informed training, by the way. Looking at and accepting the whole person that's in front of me in the same way that I was at the time and still am accepting myself. So what does this look like? This looks like some of the suggestions that I have made for you in the Emotional Health Handbook. Those of you who are in the Facebook group, there is the link in there. If you're not in the Facebook group, well, why aren't you in the Facebook group? Because that's where all my free stuff goes. That's where all of these, little teaching workshop things go. And also in there is the direct link to the Emotional Health Handbook. So whenever it's updated, you automatically have it updated. Yeah, because it's a Google link. So whenever you think you might need something, hit that Google link, bookmark it. Yeah. Because new stuff gets put in there every now and again. It's actually my clients' favorite bits. So whenever a client says, "Oh my God, that bit was so good," I create a bit of content, turn it into a PDF or something that's easy for you to consume, and I pop it in the Emotional Health Handbook. So one of the things that's in there are the morning and evening routines. Now they look like, let me just pop this in front of you. How do I get to, oh no, I've made myself so small. I can't find the share screen button. Right, let me share a couple of things that are inside the Emotional Health Handbook. Right, this one is the evening suggestion. So let's start with the morning. Right. Now, my sounds daft, but this is literally me on a PDF. Right. The first thing, and it's right up there at the top, give yourself grace. Yeah. Because that grace to me means forgiveness, understanding, compassion, consideration. Did I say consider? All of that stuff anyway. Yeah. Give yourself grace. And these are headed up morning suggestions, the same as the evening one is evening suggestions, because you need to do what's right for you. For me, my morning looks like this. Number 1, pee. Yeah. Number 2, hydrate. Normally, when I get back to bed from going to the toilet, I will sit on the edge of the bed and drink. I have my big bottle here, size of my head. I have my big bottle sitting next to the bed, all full up, ready for the morning. So I will just drink and drink and drink and drink and drink until my body says stop. Once I'm dressed, I will go downstairs, let the dog out in the garden, wander around in the garden. At some point, usually, around about that time, I'm mentally reminding myself of things that I am grateful for, like electricity to boil the kettle, or the little bit of rain we had last week to keep my lawn green. All that kind of stuff. Those kind of gratitude things. And the thing with gratitude is it doesn't have to be in a set format. Yeah, there are various set formats that I can teach you that would help you to bring more gratitude into your life. I think I did, see, they're all blurring into each other. I did a workshop somewhere about adding gratitude to your life. If I've got a recording of it, I'll make sure it's in this group if it's not already. So again, you see, everything that's good just goes in the group. Sometimes when I'm wandering around the garden, I'll do some affirmations. Sometimes when I come in from the garden, after I've had my little water concoction, this is something that I've started quite recently, and it's really helping my innards, my gut health, I think. It was suggested to me by a suitably qualified individual, shall we say. You get a good healthy splash of lemon juice in the bottom of a glass, add about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, fill it up with water, give it a good stir, drink it down in one. And that kind of prepares my gut for the first bit of punishment of the day. Yeah. My coffee. It's not that I can't do life without coffee. It's that life is too short to not enjoy a cup of coffee. So I will have a cup of coffee every day. And then I will sit down and maybe journal. But all of these things are maybes, apart from the pee and the hydrate. Yeah, that's not a maybe. When I sit down here at my desk, I always start with a 15-minute review of the day, making sure that there is a balance between the work that I need to do, the stuff that I need to do for my clients, for instance, resting, playing, time outside in nature, walking the dog. I mean, if I was to show you my calendar, which I can't do anymore because it's got clients' names all over it, but it's got literally a row of walking the dog every morning, walking the dog every evening, and though those things are marked as free, so a client could book during normal work time, it's there, and that's why I sit down and I review the day. Because if a client has booked in, it might mean that I need to go out with the dog walk a little bit early, or I might have to do the dog walk after. That's where all the balance comes in. Then if I don't have one ready prepared, which I often do the night before, I write 2 lists, a to-do list, but more importantly, a not to-do list. My to-do list for today includes going live. So I've got the preparation to go live, the going live, the dog walks. I've got a call straight after this. And I've also setting up one of my older clients, making all of her stuff available on my new membership platform. So all of those things are there in my to-do list, but in my not to-do list, right? The first thing says, do not deviate from the plan. And I think if I ever created one of those like personalized journal diary type things, I would probably have that on most days. Because what is the point of having a plan if you don't stick to the plan? So once you've got your not to do list and your to do list, just double check that there are, or double check that the boundaries that you already have in place are in place and safe and maintained. Yeah. And if not, use my 4-step method to create your boundary and state it to the people who need to have it stated to. This sounds really formal and gory, but it usually boils down to me sending a message to my mum to say, just so you know, I'm completely busy from 2 p.m. onwards. Yeah, so that she knows. Something that I try and do most mornings, even if it's just, you know, immediately before the 15-minute review of the day, when I make my first coffee, I sit with myself. The term meditate, though it does have formal meanings, I don't believe in any of them. I believe that just sitting with yourself and just being in the moment, yeah, in that space between my hands. This is the past, this is the future, and the space between my hands is the moment. Quite often when I'm sitting in that moment, I have a little, it's not an affirmation, it's almost like a mantra, I suppose, that I repeat to myself, which goes, in this body, in this moment, in this body, in this moment, in this body, in this moment. Sometimes I change it to, you know, I am in this body. I am in this moment. I am focused on this moment. I am focused on this breath. So sometimes it varies. Sometimes it's probably, you know, 15 seconds long. And sometimes it's 10 minutes. And each day, usually in the morning, because that's when my brain absorbs most, I either do some reading or I do some kind of personal development, whether that's, I mean, the thing I'm doing right now is I'm doing a course on the basics of dementia care, because one of my clients, her mum and her partner's mum, both have dementia. And it's something that's around us every day. I thought I should study it. studied. I'm just going, you know, basic top level study. But for me, it's learning new stuff that are useful to my clients in this moment. Yeah. And the compassionate evening routine, again, starts with grace. Give yourself grace. And these are evening suggestions. None of this is compulsory. None of this. This is just how I make my day's work. So at the end of my day, I have a little reminder that goes off on my phone. In step 3 of this, it tells you what time. But anyway, I do a review of my day. I look at the things that have gone well, the things that I've learned. I look for a moment of truth and a moment of gratitude in my day as well, so that I am consciously seeking out those moments of truth and those moments of gratitude. Right, I just need to have a quick check because I've just had one of those noises go off to say there's, oh, right, okay, it isn't. I thought it was someone joining this meeting. Anyway, when your work day ends, respect yourself. Yeah. So if you're at a job, when you leave the job in your place of work. If you work at home, like I do, I have an alarm go off on my phone. It pops up and says your working day just ended. Yeah. Respect yourself. It's not about getting that last thing done or just checking your emails before you go to sleep. No, don't do that. Respect yourself. Give yourself a little bit of value in your life. My phone is set to go silent, except for a few people. That happens at 8 o'clock, which is literally the time that the alarm pops up to say, you know, end of your workday. The way that Android works, I'm not sure about, you know, iPhones or other things, but there's bound to be something. On my Android phone, I can set people like my mum, my sisters, special people, with a star in the contacts. And so when the phone goes on to silent, only people who are starred in my contact list will be able to get through to my mobile. I also use a blue light filter on my phone after 8 o'clock, so that if I do choose to look at it, there is a significantly reduced blue light, which is the light that kind of hypnotizes your brain, the one from computer screens and from televisions. I was recently asked, does watching your phone or your television in black and white still emit blue light? I don't know. And I haven't been able to find out. So if anybody's watching this and they know, can they please put it in the comments? Because I need to know. Yeah, I need to know. So another thing that's suggested by me is to stop watching TV or screens an hour before bedtime, at least an hour. I mean, some people say, you know, that this gap should be 2 hours, 3 hours. My working day ends at 8 o'clock. I'm in bed by 10. So, you know, blocking that off an hour, sorry, great big clatter outside, don't know what it was. So an hour before bedtime is what I aim for, you know, in this compassionate routine. And the last thing that I've got in my compassionate routine is to search out and try out different sleep hygiene techniques. Yeah? Lots of people out there have got lots of different views about the best way to get the best sleep. Yeah, we're all individuals. Choose what works for you. Yeah? And remember, you can get both of these things, the morning suggestions and the evening suggestions, in the Emotional Health Handbook that is available in the group. Right, let's just minimize that now so that goes away. Okay, so that's kind of, you know, the morning and evening routines that I aim for, right? But I know that life doesn't always cooperate. That's why I call them compassionate. And there are other things that I do all day, every day, that ensures that I am resourced for my clients, for my loved ones, for my dear friend, if she just decides, you know what, I don't want to go to treatment on my own today. Yes, I'm capable of going there on my own, but I just don't want to go there on my own today, you know. And I make myself available to her. I've told her that even when she's pretty sure she's going to go on her own, to tell me about the date and the time so I can have it in my diary just in case she needs me. Yeah. But other things that I do that are more somatic are a single deep breath or a set of 3. Whenever I notice that I'm hardly breathing, sometimes I find myself sitting here going, yeah, might change this and everything that, and just so focused on work that sometimes you don't even breathe. Yeah. Be honest. If this is you, raise your hand. Yeah, it's me. I do it. And when I do notice that I'm hardly breathing, I either take a single conscious breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. I close my eyes so that I'm not reading while I'm doing it. Yeah. Or a set of 3 of those breaths. Another thing that I do is I nearly always take a brisk walk before a client or a teaching call. I didn't know why this worked until I started doing it regularly. But it's simply because our bodies are not designed to sit around all day in front of computers. We are designed to move. Yeah, we're not even designed to sit in this, spine, thigh, legs, seated shape. We're not even designed to sit in that shape. I am saving up for one of those rising desk things so that I can work standing up, because I think it's going to be better for my body. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try it because these things, they're worth a try. All of these things are worth a try. And if I've got no time to take that brisk walk, then I will walk barefoot on the grass in my backyard, even in the winter. Even in the winter when there's frost on the ground. I did once walk across my lawn, turn around and noticed my footprints where I'd melted the frost on the grass. Yeah. That really connects your mind to your feet, or in my case, my mind to my feet. And for that awareness to be connected to mind to feet, to mind to feet, there's the whole body in the middle. Yeah. So, I do that. I'm always, in addition to the quick 15 minutes checking through my day every day, I also plan my week, either on a Sunday afternoon or at the very latest Monday evening, so that all I have to worry about for the rest of the week is follow the plan. Follow the plan, follow the plan, stick to the plan, stick to the effing plan. Yeah. Why put the effort into planning if you're not going to do it? Personally, I use Google to death. Yeah. I use calendar, I use tasks, I use reminders. Maybe even got reminders to worm the dog, reminders to book the winter cleaner, reminders ahead of when my car MOT is due, because all of that stuff, I haven't got time or the mental energy to be thinking about all of that stuff, when what I want to be focused on, what I choose to be focused on, are my clients. Even emails can be made into a time allocation on a calendar, or as a task to give you a deadline, and you sort of see the tasks going, scrolling up along the side. But please know that however you plan, however you put your days together, this is the thing that I want you to take away from this workshop. Yeah, is please know that the first person in line when you need help has to always be you. Yeah, you need to figure out a way to always be there for yourself, because once you've done that, yeah, trust me when I say, once you've done that, once you as a person are looked after and cared for in a compassionate way, when somebody else needs you, you are going to be fully resourced there and available for them. Yeah. Now that to me is people pleaser heaven. Yeah. Saying no to all the BS so that I can say yes to the important people means that my people pleaser caused by hidden trauma, yeah, my inner people pleaser can please people, the important people, and I can please myself. Yeah. So right now, if you don't trust yourself, trust me, give this a go. Yeah. Rely on yourself, resource yourself. And, I'm totally smug and completely sure that, you will find that this will help. Yeah. And it won't just help you, it'll help all of the people around you. So I'm signing off now. As you can see from my warmly thingamy, I'm a coach supporting Gladiator Mastermind clients. So I need to get over there and be their mindset coach, looking after them with struggles that they have around things like confidence and putting themselves first. Now, having done this workshop with you guys today, I'm going to be fully in that place, in the present, in the moment, fully resourced myself. I've got 30 minutes before that starts. I'm going to have something to eat. I'm going to drink some more water. I'm going to walk around in the garden. Then I'm going to sit down, collect the notes that I've already made for this workshop, and make sure that I'm ready and prepared for the breathwork segment. So, one more time, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any questions about this or any other of my workshop or resources, just drop me a message. Somehow, however it works out. There's only one of me, but there's lots and lots of you. So yeah, reach out, say hi. I respond to every single message. And yes, even if it's some scam bloke wanting to know if I'm married with children, really, I respond to every message. It's a rule. It's a rule. But anyway, I'm off now. So I'm going to raise my hand, wiggle my fingers, and say, as I usually do, bye for now, everybody.